Welcome to the Literary Batman. I'm Victor, and I like Batman a lot. So I want to share that love with you. Today we're going to be talking about Batman the Cult by Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson. So let's take a look at our bat shelf and see if we can find it. Now. No matter how hard you try, it always comes back to the now. My present reality is not a pretty sight. It's a thing of agony and delirium. I've been down here in the sewers at least a week, maybe longer. Hard to tell. No sunrises or sunsets, just pain and the droning. In 1988, Jim Starlin and Bernie Wrightson brought one of the darkest Batman stories to us in a 4-issue limited series called Batman the Cult. The story wastes no time in setting up a fever dream where Batman violently murders the Joker with an axe before showing us his present, being beaten, chained up, and tortured for weeks in the sewers. Batman, who is ready for anything and always has a plan, is beaten by a cult religious figure named Deacon Blackfire and his subjects, who are Gotham's homeless. Starlin really puts us in Batman's head by opening on his fantasy and following up with his monologue, where he analyzes the torture methods that they are using on him. He struggles to keep it together as he has repeatedly told stories of Deacon Blackfire stretching back to over 1,000 years ago. At last, Deacon Blackfire visits and tells Batman that he is going to cleanse the city of evil by murdering all the evildoers. We see the results of this as the homeless murder gang members and drug runners, adults and kids. Everyone is judged unworthy. Finally, Blackfire injects Batman with a hallucinogen and shows him a towering totem reaching to infinity. In the most chilling scene in the issue, Batman claims that he sees the truth of Blackfire and passes out as his newest convert. Batman is hallucinating again, seeing his enemy Two-Face. Wielding a machine gun, Batman remarks on how good it feels to gun him down. Reality sets in, and Batman sees that he is helping gun down the Mafia in cold blood. We see that Batman is fully integrated into the Underworlder society, taking orders and killing criminals, then retreating to the sewers for scraps of food and quiet contemplation on Deacon Blackfire's divinity. Another Underworlder called Ratface brings Batman to the surface to settle a score with an opponent in his former life. Batman can't see the difference between reality and the lies that he is being told by Ratface. In the resulting murder, Ratface is captured by the GCPD, and Batman lashes out at the police before fleeing. As Batman finally gets to eat real food, his hallucinations abate, and he starts to make sense of his situation. He decides to face Blackfire and returns to the sewers, where he is ambushed and held captive again. As he is led down the sewers to his execution, he escapes into the drainage. Robin has infiltrated the sewers and follows him to a pile of festering corpses. Batman, still mad, keeps on repeating, "Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell. Welcome to hell." Something significant about this issue is that Batman's costume has been ripped away, so you can no longer see the Bat logo. This is a way of showing through the art that he is not the Batman we know and is capable of anything. Robin's induction into Batman's psychosis at the end of this issue is chilling, and we can see just how low the Batman has fallen. This issue fleshes out Deacon Blackfire's story as Batman tries to escape with Robin from the sewers. GCPD reviews a rap sheet on him going back to the 20s. His mobilization of the homeless leads to a reign of terror that snipes Commissioner Gordon, beheads the deputy mayor, and begins a takeover of the city, fighting back the National Guard at every turn. Jason Todd's personality really comes out here. When they are cut off on both sides by the Underworlders, Robin says, "It's been fun, Batman. At least we'll be going out in style. All right, you sorry clowns, let's party," and begins to fight to his end. Batman is so broken that it takes Robin's pleading and his dire peril to snap him out of the insecurity and fight. As they are finally rescued by Alfred, Batman declares that they are leaving Gotham and never coming back. They lost. The card drifts away into blank space on the page, signaling the uncertainty of their future plans. The plague of horrific images still follows Batman as he sleeps after abandoning Gotham City. Now it's his parents' skeletons showing contempt for his weakness against Blackfire. Bruce and Jason have been recovering at Wayne Manor for the past week, and they are ready to invade Gotham again. To take back the city, the dynamic duo have to upgrade their arsenal. Robin comments that it's weird to be using guns, but Batman assures him that they have to adjust their methods since they will be going against an army. Their guns are outfitted with fast-acting tranquilizer darts. The Batmobile has changed as well. Now it looks like a monster truck on stilts, outfitted with heavy artillery. As they enter the city, Batman has to contend with his own doubts and about his abilities. He thinks that his past success has made him nearly invincible, yet he was broken by one man. Each obstacle leads him to Deacon Blackfire in an underground arena. Blackfire wants to die, thus assuring his martyrdom, but Batman uses his martial arts skills instead to disarm Blackfire and beat him mercilessly. His monologue while he's doing it is surgical, as he targets Blackfire's pain centers and doesn't try to knock him out. With a broken Blackfire before him, the Underworlders turn and try and rip Blackfire to shreds. The story ends with Batman setting fire to Blackfire's last relic and walking away. This story was significant in the history of Batman because it showed a broken and beaten Batman for perhaps the first time in such a visceral fashion. The writing style really gets into Batman's head, as it's told mostly through his internal monologue. Batman's hallucinations and dreams show us how unhinged his mind really is, as well as his bloodlust for his enemies. He brutally acts as the Joker and guns down Two-Face in his mind while declaring how much he enjoys it. Batman's introspection allows for revelation. While target practicing with Robin, Batman witnesses a flying bat overhead. This triggers his memories of the night his parents were murdered, and he solemnly declares to Robin, "I've always been fooling myself all these years. Always claimed I became the Batman to avenge the death of my parents, to fight crime. This was a lie. I really did it to overcome the fear." The use of guns is a hotly contested subject for this story. As we all know, modern Batman canon doesn't allow his use of guns, but in the second issue he uses a machine gun to kill a mafia member. It can be argued that he wasn't using his own mental faculties, and he wasn't truly Batman without his uniform insignia, but this nevertheless generated a lot of controversy. Batman's lack of reservation in using tranquilizer guns in issue 4 also shows a more laissez-faire approach to weapons that we don't see in modern Batman canon. Jim Starlin wrote this novel, particularly as an allegory for the Comics Code Authority and anti-First Amendment sentiment cropping up against comic books and other mediums in the 90s. He showed that Batman becomes evil when he is swayed by religious zealots. In future stories, Deacon Blackfire is resurrected as a Black Lantern in Darkest Night. He also showed up haunting Arkham Asylum in Batman Eternal. Finally, he tried to resurrect himself in his only living relative in Detective Comics. Batman the Cult is a great novel that shows Batman at his lowest. I give it 3 cowls. If you like what you heard, make sure to like and subscribe, and never forget, I am Batman, you are Batman, we are Batman.